Well done. Well done, Drake. Well done. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think the L that you have taken since Not Like Us first released and the battle was declared over. I didn't think that L could get any bigger, but you have found ways to make an L bigger than what was believed to be humanly possible. Well done. Well done. I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to gloat. I had to kick his back in like a few other content creators have been doing and will be doing for days, weeks to come. I had to get my little shot in because this was all avoidable. The fact that you decided to put hip hop, the art of battle rap, freedom of speech in music, the culture in general in jeopardy for your own selfish desire. Yeah, this ha 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 finger pointing and laughing is deserved because this didn't have to go this way. For those who don't know, who have not seen the news on this yet, at the time of this video, it has been made official by the judge that the case is dismissed. Drake's defamation lawsuit, federal defamation lawsuit against UMG has been officially dismissed by the judge. And I'm not about to go through court documents and quotes. I'll tag like a few videos in the comments or in the description, for you to check out if you want to get the details. I'm not about to go through all that. The important thing is that this case that should have never even been filed, should have never even been a thing to begin with, is finally done. And hopefully this battle is done, because whether it's on this platform, on YouTube, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Threads, Instagram, I don't get on X, but I know X is a cesspool. Like whatever corner of the internet that you've been on, it has been exhausting to deal with this battle. This battle has been over since like May, and it has been kept alive by the Aubrey defenders, the OV hoes, Aubrey's Angels, whichever one you want to use, whichever name you choose to use for these like crazed, delusional stands of his. And it's been kept alive because of Drake and because of this lawsuit. I said at the top of the year, I'm done with Drake. When this was officially filed, because at one point it felt like they were going to pull it, but it was really just the bot allegations and the payola stuff had really gotten pulled, but they moved forward with the defamation part of the suit. Once they decided to do that officially in January, I was done. I said I'm done with Drake, and I meant it. I have not listened to Some Sexy Songs for You. I haven't listened to any of the songs from the Iceman rollout. Haven't watched any of the live streams. None of that. Anything dealing with Drake, if I've listened to it, it's because I was scrolling on TikTok. I was out somewhere and they're playing Nokia or something else. It was never because I wanted to listen to it. And a guy who used to be a day one Drake fan, I'll admit it, I was a day one Drake fan. I listened to So Far Gone for the first time, went back, listened to Comeback Season, and I was a real big fan up until about 2016. Really because of the ghostwriting allegations.
Oh, money, new women, gotta keep it bouncing. The girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge.
But even then, I was, still tuned in. Even if I wasn't really that big of a fan of a lot of his music from 2016 to up until recently, I would still give it a curious listen at least and hope to get a couple of songs that I liked. But for the most part, I've been off Drake. But the lawsuit was the last straw. And I go into full detail what led me up to this point, but the lawsuit just in general, even if all the other stuff, the sneak dissing, the dissing women, including women like Megan Thee Stallion for getting shot, or Esmeralda Spalding just because she beat you for the new artist Grammy, allegedly. All of the catty stuff, the disrespectful stuff, going against the rules of hip hop for your benefit. Even if all of that didn't exist, if this battle happened and this lawsuit happened and none of that other stuff was there, I would still be done with Drake, because it's bigger than just being a fan of one artist. It's about the whole culture of hip hop. And you putting that to the side, like you were willing to burn down the house that made you, the house that raised you. Drake wouldn't exist without hip hop, wouldn't exist without the freedom of speech that has been in music well before your time. None of Drake wouldn't even exist. You would still just be Aubrey if it wasn't for the culture that you shitted on by putting this lawsuit out. Man, and since I said I'm done with Drake, since I said that in January, I've just been watching this stuff play out, and it's just been worse. It's just been worse and worse and worse. Like, you include like wanting Kendrick's like paternity to his children, trying to confirm that Dave Free is or isn't the father. You bringing up you want them to bring up Kendrick's criminal history or any acts of violence in his past. You want to put that in court documents. You're using lyrics in documents. You called Not Like Us anti-Semitic. It has nothing to do with you being Jewish, but you put that in the court documents because you know what that means and how that would trigger and the type of like reaction that would get if Not Like Us was labeled anti-Semitic. Because this was all orchestrated and planned. You thought you could just manipulate the system. We watched a man throw a temper tantrum, and there were people trying to defend it. Oh man, he's gonna be a martyr for the industry. Oh, he's just trying, like, after this lawsuit, like, he's gonna make it better for artists moving forward. He's gonna get rid of the payola and bots and these unfair advantages that go against artists. There were people trying to make sense of this, and I'm like, no, this is a petulant man child having a temper tantrum because the one time the system did not work in his favor, the one time he thought he could just sway UMG and Lucian Grange and the people who, fudge the numbers for him or make sure that he gets all the advantages in the world to make sure that he is number one. The one time that system did not work in his favor, he went ballistic and he chose the nuclear option. Like the Aubrey's Angels are like, yo, if you don't want to get sued, like when I say how I don't like this lawsuit, I say if you don't want to get sued, just don't call somebody a PDF file. Y'all don't understand. That's not how law works. It doesn't have to be that extreme for a lawsuit to happen. Somebody can get on the record and call you fat, call you bald, call you ugly, say you can't dress. It could be something as little as that. And this precedent would be set by Drake in this lawsuit if he even got even a crumb of a win in this lawsuit. And there would be lawsuits flying all over the place, not just in hip hop, not when it just comes to beef and battle records. Like I said it in the last video, Taylor Swift makes albums and she's always talking about her exes and her ex relationships, and people in the past have said, yo, like the Swifties are harassing me because they know that this song is about me. Those people could turn around and retroactively sue her. So this would affect all genres across the board if he would have got a kernel of a win. And most of those cases, like theoretically, would not go anywhere, would not, yield any type of, losses for the label. Like they wouldn't really get past, the discovery phase most of the time. But who wants to deal with that headache? It would be much easier for labels to just block the music from even coming out than having to spend money and time going to court because of these lyrics. And that's the kind of Pandora's box Drake was willing to open. And I feel like he knows that. But because of Kendrick's win and everybody celebrating Not Like Us and celebrating Kendrick on the back of this, he felt like the culture didn't care about him no more. And he was like, hell with the culture. And that's selfish. Like I said it from the jump, Drake, all you had to do was sit down, disappear for a year. Like I think about the one song you've dropped since this battle concluded. 100 gigs, some sexy songs for you, all of the Iceman tracks. The one song that seemed to really, elevate you and was actually like a hit song, was a hit record, was Nokia. And it was the one song that had absolutely nothing to do with the battle until the music video came out. And that song was so successful, and it's a bop. Like, and it was successful because it had nothing to do with this battle. Imagine if Drake would have disappeared. Imagine if he would have disappeared for a year. And you got people on podcasts still talking about, yo, man, the industry is whack. Hip hop is whack right now because Drake's not around.
When Drake was around, like when he was at the number one spot, hip hop was still exciting.
Even though Drake ain't gone nowhere since the battle happened. He hasn't stopped making music, dropping videos, doing live streams. He's been on tour pretty much the entire time since the battle was included. The guy ain't been nowhere. The music just ain't sticking. But imagine those people on those podcasts saying that, and Drake actually did disappear. And then he comes back after a year. Nobody's seen him. Nobody's really heard from him. A whole 12 months go by. Kendrick has his run. He does the Super Bowl. Not Like Us dominates the charts for the rest of 2024. Like, he drops GNX. That's a success. And he goes on tour. He's been pretty quiet. He's been pretty quiet this entire time. Imagine if he disappeared for 12 months after Kendrick does his thing and then drops something like Nokia. It would be a monster. Like, it was successful. Just imagine how crazy that song would have went. But you can't see past your ego. You cannot accept the fact that you just were bested. And the crazy thing about all of this is that it's self-inflicted. You started it. You started the fight. You got your ass whooped. Then you went to go tell the teacher. And then the teacher told you, the judge in this case, told you to shut the fuck up and take your ass whooping like a man. But you couldn't accept that. You started it. You got upset after Control. Everybody else got in the booth. They either understood why their name was mentioned, or they got in the booth because they were upset that they were not mentioned. They were not mentioned as the artists that were competition. It was a call of action to the generation of MCs that were coming up at the time to really do this thing and compete for the #1 spot. Everybody else understood but Drake.
Like that verse was a moment to talk about. Are you listening to it now at this point in time?
Instead of getting in the booth and instead of like acknowledging that, yo, this man looks at me as a peer. He looks at me as somebody like this friendly competition, worthy competition, that we're all fighting to be at the top of this. You went on a cry tour. You were talking to Elliott Wilson. You're on radio stations in New York. You talking to all these people crying, upset. Instead of looking at it for what it is, as a call to action, you took it as harsh words. Your words. That they were harsh words. And you've been sneak dissing for years and years. Like, you've been taking shots since 2013 on the language. And you got all these different tracks going at Kendrick. Then First Person Shooter comes out. Then he decided, fine, fuck it, I'm gonna drop Like That. I'm not gonna act like Kendrick was sneak dissing. I feel like there's plenty of songs you could look at on To Pimp a Butterfly, on Damn, even on the Black Panther soundtrack, which I think that one's a little bit of a reach. The All the Stars verse was gonna happen. Then he do Like That. And in the Like That verse, it's just about Drake. It's about Drake and possibly J. Cole. He doesn't get too personal. It's just bars. It's just bars. It's like, all right, we're gonna do this. But we on some rap shit. You decided to mention his wife first on Push-Ups. You did it again on Tailor Made and get extra disrespectful with the AI Tupac thing. And it was you that brought up call him a pedophile. Side note, this is a funny hack that I've noticed. I don't even know if they're gonna really be like that going forward, because this lawsuit was really the last straw they were grasping for to get a win in this whole situation. But like, anytime I talk about this stuff, right, Aubrey's Angels will be in my comments. It's like, oh, he shouldn't have called him a pedophile. That's why he's suing. He shouldn't have called him a pedophile. And then all I have to do is post the lyrics to Tailor Made Freestyle when he explicitly told Kendrick to call him a pedophile. And they stop every time, because there's no defending that. There's no way to get around that. Yeah, I'm suing you because you called me this. Well, then my argument would be, why did you tell me to call you that? And they have nothing to say after that. They just stop commenting. So if you ever run into that in the future, anybody watching this, just do that. And let's just see what the response is going to be. But you do Tailor Made Freestyle. Tailor Made Freestyle does not need to happen. You do push-ups. And I gave you props for push-ups. A lot of people did as a response to Like That. The Whitney bar, all right, this is what Drake does. Nobody really batted an eye because that's just what Drake do. But Tailor Made Freestyle took it a tiny step further than it needed to be. Then Euphoria drops. Allusions to the pedophile stuff. He flirted with it, but he didn't go there. But you decided, after being repeatedly warned twice on Euphoria, you're taking it there, I'm taking it further, and that's something you don't want to do. Then you get another warning on 616 in LA to not take it there, and you do it anyway on Family Matters. You throw the wildest allegations you got. You call him a domestic abuser, and you're saying that his wife cheated on him behind his back and his children are not really his, but his best friends. And then he comes back with Meet the Grams and Not Like Us. This is tit for tat. But because you didn't have anything in the tuck to combat that, because when you did it on Taylor Made, I was like, yo, I'm thinking he got something up his sleeve. He must got something up his sleeve if he's willing to try to like throw that out there. Like, okay, yeah, use it. That's like giving your enemy a gun and telling them to shoot you. Like, you must have something. You must have some type of trick or skill or something that's gonna like make it backfire on you. You had nothing. You had absolutely nothing. You had a backup plan, which was to sue. The red button was a lawsuit. The red button was a nuclear bomb dropped on not only Kendrick, but the whole of hip hop, just to get back at one person. And like, this lawsuit has negatively impacted your career, and you see it in the numbers. Drake, even on his bad day, because like I said, the quality of music for about 10 years now has not been up to snuff. He is nowhere near Take Care. He's nowhere near Nothing Was the Same, So Far Gone, Thank Me Later. Like, he's nowhere near that. But his music can continue to do numbers. Consistently dropping number ones, consistently going number one, doing biggest first week sales of anybody that drops that year. Consistently, despite the negative reaction or the mixed reaction, I would say, to a lot of your work this decade especially. But you see it in the numbers lately. Some Sexy Songs for You barely got to number one and was competing with an album that came out 4 months beforehand in GNX. And y'all swapping that spot, and eventually it just completely falls off the charts. Then most of these Iceman records barely cracking top 10, top 20. And for Drake, this is rare. He had a few tracks that was barely even cracking the top 40, top 50 of the Billboard 100s. And we only talking about numbers because you're the numbers guy. That's what most of your defenders and the people that are supporting you no matter what will throw at any argument, any criticism towards you is your numbers. And your numbers have been suffering because you will drop something and then an update from this lawsuit will come out. You'll drop something like What Did I Miss? The same week that you request that the paternity of Kendrick's kids be brought into legal filing. The No Kids video drops around the same time that you're asking for Kendrick's criminal history to be brought into court. This is hurting. I always thought, like, no matter how the battle turned out, no matter how corny he's been about this whole thing, he was always going to do numbers. He's always going to be Drake. I think the lawsuit might be the thing that puts an end to that, because you have a core fan base that are going to support you no matter what. But a lot of people don't really recognize that your core fan base is not the masses. There are the people that are going to support you no matter what, and then there's going to be the people that are going to watch what you do in and out of music, and that's going to determine if they support you or not. And I think that might be the step too far. Like I've said this from jump, Kendrick has been quiet. Kendrick does what any artist would do when dropping a hit song. They drop the song, he do a show like the Pop Out to promote it, he drops a music video, he drops an album that doesn't even have the song on it, does a Super Bowl, then goes on tour. Just a regular artist rollout. The person that has been hyping up and bringing more attention to Not Like Us more than anybody is Drake. Anytime he go out in public and he show people that he bothered, show people that he's upset, the song shoots right back at number one. You wilding out on DeMar DeRozan at the basketball game, everybody go stream Not Like Us. You get at LeBron, you start throwing little shots at LeBron. You get DJ Academics to bring on people talking about bots, like, oh, I sold Kendrick and UMG bots for streams and stuff. Like, that happens. Everybody goes, you know what? I'm gonna go listen to Not Like Us. You're like, oh, it has to be bots because there's no way he beat me. Oh, cool. Everybody's gonna go stream Not Like Us. When the news came out that the lawsuit got dismissed, I asked my wife, I was like, I can't even remember the last time I said, yo, turn on Not Like Us. And anytime I could think about it in the last year, it's just the fact that anytime Drake does something or another thing comes out about this lawsuit, I'll go listen to the song, go listen to that song, go listen to Euphoria, and I go listen to Meet the Grams. Because, yo, like, it's a great song, and I'm not going to contribute, Drake as the guy that's the sole reason why the song is a success. Like, it's a bop. Like, Mustard and Kendrick did their thing on that song. So I'm not saying that. It's, Aubrey's Angels will tell you that a million times over, but I'm not going to say that. But there's a part of me that's like, would this song be diamond right now? Would it have gone diamond as fast as it did if it wasn't for Drake doing everything in his power to let people know that he's bothered and reminding people that he got his ass whooped? Laying low for a year would have been the best thing. People said it was crazy, but I think that would have been the best thing for you, because this is the worst thing. Because now you have it in legal documentation that you lost in a rap battle. Like, everybody's been repeating it. I can't even remember who the original person to say it, but you lost lyrically, you lost culturally, and you lost legally. And everything after Not Like Us was self-inflicted. If you would have played it different, if you didn't let your ego get in the way, this would be a distant memory right now. But you let it, you kept it alive. You kept this thing alive. I'm celebrating this. I'm not celebrating this because of UMG. First of all, y'all don't care about UMG. The people that are defending this, the people that feel some type of way, y'all are not really supporting artists against UMG, because y'all ain't supporting Salt and Pepper in their fight for their unpaid royalties. I root for the little guy. Drake is not the little guy being cheated by the system. If he was trying to get money that was owed to him, or if there was like real evidence that the system was working against him, they're blocking him from releasing music over some, contractual disputes illegally. Like, if it was something like that, I would be on his side. But this is not what that is. Like I said, this is a man-child throwing a tantrum. He's being a brat. And now you have to continue to wear this L. People are asking, like, what happens to Drake going forward? I don't care. Just because the lawsuit is dismissed now doesn't mean that it changes my stance on the fact that I don't rock with this dude no more. Because you were willing to throw us all under the bus. You're willing to throw every other artist under the bus. We're already living through a time where the current administration in the White House is actively trying to attack people's free speech. And you were trying to attack it in the one arena where, even if I can't say it online, if I can't make comments about Charlie Kirk, or if I can't publicly denounce the things that they're doing with the ICE raids, or how they're dealing with the economy, even without facing repercussions from my employer or from the administration themselves, them watching the internet, trying to see who they could label as a Antifa terrorist so they can try to get us up out of here. If I can't do it there, I can at least put it in a song. But you were trying to take that away. And the craziest thing is, the freedom of speech that you were trying to destroy, you're not even from here. At every step of the way, you proved over and over and over again, you are not like us. But we're going to see what it looks like moving forward. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's your boy Vinny Dangerous. Like, share, and subscribe this video. Like, share, and subscribe to 1430 Live. And until next time, much love.